A very good evening or morning, everyone. I know there are folks from different time zones. I'm joining from Delhi. It's 4 p.m. On behalf of HDFC Bank and Samarth Elder Care, I welcome you to this session organized by HDFC Bank exclusively for their NRI customers. Thanks very much for joining this session on a topic which is very close to our heart and extremely important for many of us with parents who are growing old. How to extend our care, support, and love to them, especially when physically we can't be with them. A quick word about myself. I'm the founder and CEO of Samarth Elder Care and Samarth Clinics for Healthy Aging. After graduating from IIT Kanpur and then IIM Calcutta in 1994, I spent a major part of my career as a management consultant with McKinsey in India and Europe. Later, I was involved with establishing and transforming a bunch of universities in India. But for the last 10 years, I've been through Samarth Elder Care and Samarth Clinics, helping elderly stay independent and in good health and really age at their own home with comfort, happiness, and dignity. First of all, let me say that, I do not think of myself as an expert, but as a son or daughter like you with aging parents and in-laws. However, as practitioners in elder care, we've had the experience and benefit of now assisting hundreds of families, touching thousands of seniors in our community in India, and engaging with nearly 1 million through our various initiatives while building Samarth over the last 10 years. So 8 years ago, we decided that we will build a support ecosystem so that any son or daughter like us can extend the same quality of comprehensive support to aging parents living anywhere in India as if they themselves were there. And really, that has been the journey of Samarth. And today we work with Indians in 33 countries and can support their parents in 350 cities of India. By the way, you can visit our website to find more by clicking on the link at the bottom right of the screen. If we also, HDFC Bank also has offers, special offers for NRI clients for which you can call us. But let me start with a little personal story. By the way, if there are questions on your mind, please keep posting them. There is again a link at the bottom called comment box. I'll try to address as we go or at the end of the session. And even if any is not addressed due to time limitation, we will get back to you with an answer if you leave your email or contact. So last year, my mother had a spine surgery for a long-standing problem. My parents live in Dehradun and they came to Gurgaon to have the surgery. A doctor friend here performed the surgery. And even though we all knew that the support she was getting here with us was much better, after a few weeks of recovery, she insisted on going back home. We tried to convince her to stay longer, but after a while, it was clear that this would be against her will. And, we then gave in. So reluctantly, we let both our parents return. As it happened, after a couple of weeks, she had a fall. Not major, but unfortunately, it put her back by several months. Now, she or my father did not tell us. I learned about it, not from her, but from Ritu, who's the Samarth care manager for them in Dehradun, and now an integral part of our family care group. So I called my mom and asked her, I said, look, why didn't you tell me? And she said very matter-of-factly, she said, but you could not have done anything. तुम क्या कर लेते तो मैंने सोचा परेशान नहीं कर दूं. At that moment, I wished, as all of you, would have wished, that I was there caring for her. There are also a couple of very common issues in this story. I'm sure at some point, you have come across or heard about them. One, parent's very strong desire to continue to live in their own home. They will come visit us for a few weeks, maybe months, but then want to go back. Second, they're telling us what they want to tell. And as a result, we are often in the dark, sometimes unable to help even when, we could. So I'll come to these things shortly. But between emergency, healthcare, safety, chores like renewing licenses, paying bills, assisting with using phone, internet, almost every week, there is something that makes you think, I wish I can be there. The reality is that very often we can't for a variety of reasons, sometimes ours, sometimes theirs. Yet we do want to be able to do more to support them. And I'm sure many of you have tried to tell them how they can make their life easier. You may have even offered to make arrangements for them for home care, suggested that they see a doctor regularly, use technology more. And I won't be surprised if often your suggestions have been rejected outright or even sometimes upset them, frustrating you. Yeah. Some of us, may even give up after trying a few times, resigned to do nothing till a major event creates a crisis. What I will try to do in the rest of the session is to share some insights and practical ideas, which hopefully you can use as you think about extending support and care to your own parents while you cannot be with them. So when we started Summer, this was, 9 years ago, we conducted a major research with nearly 1,000 people. These were elderly in India, children in India and overseas, to more sharply understand the problem that we were trying to solve. And our first insight came from this research. When we asked the children, people like us, what they wanted, their response was taking care of emergency, arranging medical care, getting chores done at home, ensuring that they are safe, everything focused around their physical needs. However, their needs were very different. They were more emotional and social. And as we researched and learned more, there were mainly three things. One, people to talk to. Two, places to go to. And three, and perhaps the most important one, was the desire to continue to be needed. We can sort of elevate it above and say to have a purpose, but it was really that people should need me. Somebody should, value me. And we realize that for peace of mind and happiness of children as well as elderly, we have to address both physical and social needs. They may have different priorities at different times, but addressing both is important. So today we talk about these as three joys for our parents. One, people to talk to, two, places to go to, and three, to feel needed. The second insight is about two worries that they have, right? And this comes up in polls after polls, research after research, which we do in our community on a regular basis. The first is health, and I think you'll all get it. The worry that they should be able to take care of themselves, that they stay physically and mentally capable. The second is about money matters, and it manifests in many ways. The worry that their resources can take care of them for the remainder of their life, worry of unexpected expenses, the quite strong aversion to spend on themselves, you know, and if they have a lot, the worry of how to pass it on to their children. And we found this to be quite universally applicable, independent of which part of the country it is, what is the socioeconomic background of the elderly. This we found to be very, very, quite universal. And therefore, it needs to be addressed in the ways you extend care or support to them. The third part of the senior psyche, which affects how we provision care, is what we now recognize and we call it as their one wish or one hope. And that is to stay and be independent. And this so dominates their worldview that we have found that most seniors who have the means and are reasonably physically able, will prefer to deal with the challenges and inconveniences of staying alone rather than move in with their children. It's the sense of control they feel over their environment, their daily life. And again, it's not difficult to, imagine or visualize, right? When my parents come in, out of love, sometimes out of care, I would tell them that, look, you should probably go for a walk. You should, not have this, have that. And they don't like it. So they'll bear it for a little bit of time, but then, they want to go back home. And this is what was playing out in the case of my own parents, when my mom had the surgery, going back to their home, not telling me because they thought we would be unnecessarily worried. Right? So these three joys, two worries, and one hope are at the heart of our work at Samad. And for any children looking to extend care for their parents, this is a useful framework to use. We call it, our 1, 2, 3 framework. Once again, if there are questions on your mind, please keep posting them on the screen. I'll try to answer these at the end of the session, and we'll get back to you if we can't. So let me give an example of how this 1, 2, 3 framework plays out. Right? One wish, which is to stay independent. Two worries, health and money matters. And three joys, people to talk to, which we all get intuitively. Places to go to, which we don't appreciate so much. We don't realize how much the limitations on mobility, the fact that their friends have moved away and many are no longer there, plays on their mind, and their opportunities to go out keep on diminishing. So, the bucket list has a very real meaning for them. And that's why you see, if there's a get together or there's an occasion where family is meeting, they're going somewhere, they get very excited because that's a second joy. And the third one, to feel needed. So whenever you offer help or support, what happens? They often see it as an attack on their independence. It's a realization that, okay, now I'm not independent anymore. I need help, I need support. And it's hard to accept that you've reached a stage where you do. Yeah. Secondly, most don't want any money to be spent on them because, the generation before us, and, I speak for myself, my parents find it easier to spend money on their grandchildren, sometimes on their children, but not on themselves. Yeah. So what can you do? So first of all, I think if you don't want to have them believe that this is a attack on their independence, or in some any way diminishes their ability to do things, first of all, it's important to clarify that it is not about them, it is about us. Yeah. So oftentimes to our clients, we tell them to children that, look, make it about you, right? It's your peace of mind that you are seeking. As far as they are concerned, they are okay, they are managing, right? And once they, I mean, sometimes they accept support because they believe that they are doing their children a favor, and that's all right as long as they do, right? Second is oftentimes to take away the aspect of money from them. We have so many of our clients who tell their parents that, look, this is something that is offered from my company or from my organization, or there's a friend who started this, and better still, that can you give your feedback and input because they want to improve upon it. That addresses their third joy, which is to be needed. So there are things like these where instead of making it as something that you are doing for them, if you really want to help them or offer them any support, make it about yourself so that their sense of independence is not affected in any way. Uh, and not only this, anytime you're offering or discussing any kind of support, gifts, keep the 1 2 3 in mind. See how it may enhance their three joys, reduce their two worries, and fulfill their one wish. In our work, for example, we keep it at the center. We do not see, and we do not make our support as something which makes them independent. We position it as something which will enhance what they can do, and actually in a few months they realize that they've started doing things which they had given up. There are hobbies that they bring back. They start to go and meet their friends again, or things that they wanted to do become possible. So very quickly they start to realize that this is actually making them more active and independent. But until that happens, it's important to make sure that it doesn't sort of affect their sense of uh, independence. And again, you can visit our website to find more. There's a link at the bottom right of the screen. You can click on it. Now I want to turn to something that we all can and must do as children for our parents. If there is one request I will have for those of you who think about supporting your parents in different ways, it's this. So we've all heard and we all very well know that prevention is better than cure. However, when it comes to parent care, most of us become reactive. We do things and act when there is a problem, when there is a health emergency, or dementia has set in, or a chronic condition has become really big, or when parents have almost lost mobility. Our big insight in the last decade is that challenges can be minimized, actions can be much more fruitful, quality of life of our parents will be so much better, and even the economic cost will be much lower if we act early. In so many families in our care, lives were saved because we were prepared to handle emergencies even before they happened, with a detailed protocol of exactly what to do, where to go, who will do what, etc. We've also seen cases, unfortunately, when people came to us too late, and even as they were making decisions, we lost the elder. And that really breaks our heart, as it would for the children as well. I don't know if you know that the cost of managing the most common chronic diseases among elderly in India can be 50 to 80% lower if they are detected early through screening. and only 5 screens and 5 vaccinations, right? And these two don't have to be done every year. Some of them are only once in a lifetime, can shield them from major health issues at a fraction of cost and hassle and pain compared to if they get affected. So prevention is something that we strongly advocate for. It is hard to do. People talk about lifestyle changes, etc. Those are difficult things, but screening and vaccination are something which, all it takes is to say yes, and it can done. So all this is also a part of support we provide children in caring for their parents. We offer all this, including other timely actions like writing wills, keeping in touch with friends, family, interests, helping plan their own or even join our accompanied tours within India, outside India. So they continue to have connections and stay mindfully engaged. As children, our goal should be to help make and keep their life as wholesome as possible. And sooner we start on this journey, the longer and happier we can make it for them. We got some questions early on, so I'll now share a few charts with you which will probably answer some of them. It will also explain how we partner with families to extend such support to their parents and elders. We've had a long-standing relationship with HDFC spanning several years. And as I said before, there are special plans for HDFC NRI customers, which we are very happy to offer. So just allow me to share my screen, and it'll take a few seconds as I do it. Yeah. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Wonderful. So I'm going to play a little film for you to see what are some of the things that happen and what is it that we do. It will give you an idea, and then I'll follow up with some of the answering some of the factual questions which have come.
Parents, the beacon of our existence. The ones who never got tired, never got sick, never stopped doing what's best for us, are turning old. Yes, they are. You know it. So do we. It's hard to believe, right? The once mighty arms that could lift anything, even you, are turning weak. The lips that commanded attention, discipline, and dedication are slowly trembling. The infectious energy that kept the entire home in order is wearing. The ones who took care of us through sickness and health now need care from us. But you cannot be with them all the time. You too have to lay the foundation, pay your taxes, build your own family. You have to now step into your parents' shoes. This is where we at Samarth step in. Present in over 350 cities across India, we extend our services to Indians in over 30 countries. We have a team of more than 350 care professionals and a network of emergency ambulances, hospitals, clinics, and providers across the country to provide healthcare for your loved ones. We help you take care of your parents even when you're not there. We make regular visits, keep a tab on their health and safety, take them for their appointments, help them pursue their interests, provide companionship so they are assured that their children are always around to look after them. We take care of them the way you want to, and we keep you updated from every interaction we have so you don't miss out on anything. With Samarth, you no longer wonder if you're doing enough. You're proud that you're doing so much more. Samarth makes your best efforts even bigger and your biggest worries a little smaller. Samarth, touching hearts, enriching lives.
So I hope all of you got to see the film and probably resonated with parts of it or maybe the whole of it. Uh, for me, I feel I get very emotional every time I see this film. And I really want to apologize on behalf of all of us for the breakdown. And we are back now. So just sharing a few facts with you, which also will respond to some of the questions that I'm seeing coming in the question panel. Over the last several years, we built what is today the most comprehensive care ecosystem in the country, where we offer our services in 350 cities, have a team of care managers on the ground, and very proud to say that we serve the Indian diaspora in 33 countries today, looking after their parents in almost all corners of India. Specifically, there was a question about, towns or cities in Bihar, in Odisha, uh, Bengal, etc. We serve in all these places. We also have a health and emergency response network, which is nationwide, and we work with several large global corporations, serving being the parent care partners for their employees. I will talk a little bit about tech and touch as we go forward. And in this whole sort of journey, we've had the support of leading institutions like Social Alpha, and very proud to say that most people come to us today from word of mouth feedback. That's been our biggest achievement, I would say. uh, I'll move forward. Yeah. So the whole idea behind this is to do what sons and daughters do for their parents, and we say our mission is to care like sons and daughters. Now, it's one thing to say this, because caring like son and daughter means everything, everywhere and every time. As a son or daughter, you won't say, "Look, Dad, this is something I will do. For this, you find another son or another daughter." So you would do everything. But to give it some structure, we have broken down into 6 care pillars, which in our opinion cover the whole range of comprehensively the range of needs that most elderly have when they need support. And it ranges from ensuring that there is complete support for any emergency that may arise at one end, to companionship, which as I said earlier, meets their social and emotional needs, so that we work with their children to make sure that they don't feel at any time that they don't have the support of their children. And in between, anything to do with healthcare, taking them to doctors, ensuring medication, etc., is there, ensuring that they are adhering to what is to be done in terms of tests, etc. Safety and security, which in India, in many cities, continues to be a big area of concern, to do with their security, but also safety, fall proofing the home. We do an audit to make sure it's as fall proof as possible. Convenience needs cover a whole variety of things. It could be as simple as ensuring that bills are paid, to more complex needs around getting repairs done at home, AMCs, or even passports, visa, whatever. We take care of home care. At one end, you have attendants who attend to the needs of the elderly, and we've gone all the way to setting up ICUs at home for those who've been in need. So in some ways, it tries to mirror what a son or daughter do. Of course, we can't take the place of a son and daughter, but we can at least partner with them to make sure that the parents feel that they have a safety net which covers them for any eventuality that may arise. This is how the stuff is done. I mean, some of you have asked, how do we do it? I mean, one is what? So we have what we call care programs. These are subscription programs, and the program varies in terms of the intensity of support which is needed from time to time. They can be subscribed, and they can also be customized, so that there is a comprehensive support available to the family. It's delivered through a team of what we call care managers. And there are 2 types of care managers. One are care counselors who are local. So let's say my parents are in Dehradun, my care counselor, is in Dehradun, lives close by, so that she can visit them and is the face of whatever we bring to them, to the parents. She's led by a care leader who's a more experienced care manager, and is able to make sure that the care counselor has access to all the capabilities and support that we have. The care leader is also the first port of contact for the family, for the children, and keeps an overview of whatever is going on. Now, these are people who are, these are mostly women, 35 to 45 years of age, and they are people like us. Most of them have had a professional career before. They've been, bankers, teachers, some have had PhDs, MBAs, some are engineers. And for a variety of reasons, they've chosen now not to do a regular work, but to do something which is high impact. And they are the people who work with us exclusively. They are supported by a whole sort of capability network, which comprises of our own central team, which is, takes care of the operations, ensures whatever is needed gets done. We have subject matter experts. These are people who know, they're people who know insurance very well. They're people who can get work done in any part of the country. They're people who know the healthcare system very well. So they come in when there are specific needs. We also have a very extensive partner network across the country, and that's why we are able to do what we are doing across 350 cities. In case of an emergency, there's a helpline which is 24/7. The moment we get to know of an emergency, the emergency protocol gets activated, and whatever is required after that gets taken care of according to the protocol. For children, there is a care app which ensures that they have visibility and are up to date on whatever is happening. They are able to interact with the care team. It offers to, it holds all the documents, etc., at one place so that if in case needed, the whole family can have access to it and so on. Now, all of this is underlined by our own healthcare capability in the form of Samarth Clinics for Healthy Aging. These are physical clinics which have interdisciplinary teams led by physicians, geriatricians, clinical psychologists, physiotherapists, nurses, etc. And this allows us to very uniquely bring healthcare and medical expertise to every case. So whether it is health profiling, whether it is telemedicine, whether it is even supporting them when they have a healthcare situation that needs hospitalization, we are there with the parents. And the whole idea of the clinic and the clinicians is very strongly prevention. So reduce the risks and need for hospitalization emergencies, because this is what we have seen is a cause of a lot of not just inconvenience, but also problems and complications that arise there. So if we can keep our parents out of hospitals, I think that's how we can serve them in the best possible way. This gives you a very quick overview. I'm not going to get into details of what a care journey may look like if the family is under our care. The journey, in a way, is an encapsulation of our learning of what works, best practices over the last 8 years across thousands of families, and it ensures that every family and every situation gets the best of our efforts and learning through this kind of a planned approach. And as I said, the family gets, and you particularly the children get the best through a combination of tech and touch. Because tech ensures that you have visibility, you are able to get up-to-date information, and there's a very high level of transparency and efficiency in the system. So that's really how we work. In terms of the questions on where all we are there, well, 350 cities cover pretty much a large part of India. I mean, there are of course 600 districts, but we cover most of India. And in case there is something which is not in here, it takes us about a couple of weeks to add another location which may be there, because we have people across, and it's a question of activating that. This is a partial list. The idea of putting it there is for you to know that this is not just big cities or metros or tier one, but you will see towns as small as Lansdowne here, and Navsari, Tirunelveli, and so on. So we are there in fairly in pretty much the whole of India, where we can support your parents. So far, I've talked largely about what we do from the perspective of children. But as I said earlier in my talk, looking after what parents need and what parents are happy about is equally important, because that's what makes the whole thing work, that they are also excited about what is coming their way. So as part of the care program, the parents also, get access to what is called another program called summer privilege, which ensures that they have opportunities to meet up. They have a as active a social life as they want to be. We know people vary. So some are fine with just online events. Some people participate more. But the idea is that they should have opportunities which have become reduced for them, and they can find meaningful engagement over their uh, over their life. What is also there is a help desk which they can access, because many of our parents are not that tech savvy. So there's a simple help desk they can call, and they can get assistance on a range of requirements, advice, information. We also have a very active WhatsApp channel, because we've seen that a lot of elderly now consume their content through WhatsApp. So at least there is one channel which ensures, on WhatsApp, that what they get is useful, verified, and entertaining in the right way. As I told you earlier, there is a special program for HDFC Bank NRI customers. There's a website you can access there, and you just have to let us know that you are interested, and our team of advisors, one of our advisors will connect with you and be able to understand exactly what the need is, and then recommend what kind of a program or plan would work best for you. You can also get details on the services we offer, on the plans we offer, and decide how this might work for you. So I'm going to stop here and really see if there are other questions which are there, which you may want to ask. I'm happy to respond to them.
So Ashish, one of the questions was around the spread of the services, whether we are available in tier 2 and 3, and partly somebody else asked about villages as well.
Right. Yeah. So I think you would have got a sense. I mean, 350 cities, covers a whole lot. There is no area which is beyond our reach, at least as far as urban India is concerned. We are not that available in villages, if the specific question is around that, because the ecosystem around there is limiting, and we are not able to therefore we cannot fulfill the promise that we have of being able to support comprehensively. There are also remote care plans which may work in some of those situations, which are rural or far flung. But we will find a way to support, and we will let you know what is the best way we can support in any corner of India.
Thanks. Another question is how you are ensuring the privacy and risk of digital fraud.
Right. So I think I'm maybe I'll answer this question about digital fraud and privacy in two parts, because I'm not sure which one you meant. But one part is to help the elderly under our care avoid digital frauds, right? And that's about awareness, that's about education, and that's also about helping them with some of the work where they are exposed to risk, right? We do a lot of the first two, which is awareness and education, and we do this in many ways. When our care counselors visit them, they talk to them about it. We share cases. We have a lot of videos that we share with them, and constant reminders of what to avoid. There are experts we call in to talk to people in our community, and so on. Okay. Also, if there is a specific query, we have teams who can answer that. So somebody says, look, this is what has happened to me, or this is what I'm going through. And we've had occasions when people have, under our care, elderly have felt that there was something wrong in a message, or they felt that somebody was trying to, extract money from them, and they approached us and we helped them. In some cases, they approached us after the event, and we also helped with recoveries in some cases, involving the police and the cybercrime, etc. The other part is about, about the data that we have and how do we take care of that. So we follow best practices. India has a fairly well laid out policy around privacy and information security. All the data that we have and collect is, adheres to that. Our whole system runs on AWS, encrypted systems, encrypted data. And, we try and make sure that we are as careful with our, customers' data as we are with our own. So I suppose those are the two parts to the question.
There's one question, Ashish, is do you have caretakers that live in with the elderly parents at home?
Right. So, care can take different forms. And as I said, we aim to support whatever the need may be. So the short answer is yes. While the people who work directly with us are care managers who ensure that whatever is required is done. They visit because they are people like us. So they ensure that whatever support is needed is of the quality, is of that reliability that you yourself will ensure if you are there. For cases when there is need for in-home support, somebody to live in, sometimes there are nurses required, sometimes there are attendants required, then we organize that. We have curated partners, and we know who's good in which part of the country. Even in Bombay, we know who's good in South Bombay, who's good in, Central, etc. And we do the same due diligence with the people we bring in as you would do. And because we are reasonably large customers of many of the providers in this space, we are also able to ensure from whatever is available a better quality, right? One thing, I mean, I have to, and again, I may be repeating this because most of you, have roots in India, you would know. That there is work ethics and reliability is what it is, right? The standards which many of you would have gotten used to in other parts of the world don't exist here, especially as you go, to different work streams. And so we do what we as children do for our parents is what we do at an institutional level. We do vetting, we do backup planning, we do constant check. We also, coach and train people to make sure that they understand what is at stake. And if need be, we also change, as we would do at our own home. So those are ways in which we make sure that whatever goes through us, right, is something that, you can rely on. And we don't call ourselves a platform or a portal where we are making, our clients and services meet. Whatever goes through us, we take responsibility for that. That's part of, being like a son or daughter.
One more question. Can you give us some more information about the research you did and about the three things they want?
Right. So I think this has been a journey of 8-9 years. Started with a first major research, as I said, about 8 years ago, and we continue to refine it. This is something that we brought out and in the public space about this 1, 2, 3 framework about a year ago, and it's been talked about now in several fora. I think, I mean, it comes from, honestly, being a part academic, I'm always very interested in getting to what really drives certain things. And while quality of life is something that we all agree we want to maximize for our parents, this was an attempt to really bring to life what quality of life means. There's been a lot of academic work in this area. If you want, I'm happy to share, some papers with you. But this is our interpretation based on our, insights and research of what real quality of life means for elderly.
One more question, Ashish. Is your team trained to deal with people with dementia? What kind of extra measures do you have in place in caring for dementia clients?
Right. So this is a great question. I think it's almost always the elephant in the room. People don't talk about, cognitive problems as much. And honestly, I mean, and dementia is a very broad term. You know, there are early dementia, there are signs of dementia, there are future risks of dementia. By the way, we have a assessment methodology. It's called comprehensive assessment of healthy aging, which again is an evidence-based methodology, totally clinical, no blood works, no X-rays, etc. And it gives a pretty good idea of what is the, among other things, or what is the likelihood of cognitive risk for an elder in coming years. But to answer your question, yes, we do. And we've looked after family or elderly with dementia from early stage to reasonably advanced stage. The response varies depending on what is the stage. All our care managers, our team members are sensitized to the needs and responses to people with different types and signs of dementia. Whenever there's a need for more extensive input, that's when our clinic also gets involved. And we have clinical psychologists who get into the picture. Sometimes it goes beyond that and you need therapy and so on, which is where then we involve the family, because sometimes, it's also difficult on the family and the caregivers, etc. So that's how the response is. In case of caregivers, in case of attendants or nurses who serve people with cognitive conditions, depending on the situation, you need a certain specialized caregiver. So sometimes sensitization is adequate. Sometimes they need to be trained and experienced in handling, and we bring them in based on how the situation is.
One question is, are your services only available in India?
As of now, they are, and I think there's a lot to be done solving it in India. We continue to get inquiries about other countries, but I think every country is different, and therefore the way it is solved in India is quite unique. I think we are operating in a country or in an environment where there is huge trust deficit, where there's huge price sensitivity, and there's a big talent gap, right? So really for us, it's been a bit of a labor of love trying to create a solution which works in these, sort of boundary conditions. And I'm sure, something like this may be useful in other parts, but yeah, right now we have our care operations in India.
Some people have just mentioned that they have more queries. Can someone reach out? So if you can just talk about how they can reach out to us.
Right. So it's not. I mean, you can reach us through our website. It's www.samarth.care. If you use that link, you will get to our website. You can reach out to us in many ways. You can leave a WhatsApp. You can send us a message, and we'll be very, very happy to answer any questions you have. You can also reach out to us through your RMs who know how to access and make our services available, and they can directly talk to us and get you the responses.
Can you customize your services to our needs?
Yeah. So look, I think we've come to realize that every family is unique in some ways, right? But we also realize that with elderly, what is true at a point in time may not be true 3 months later, 6 months later, right? And that's why our emphasis on ecosystem. Point solutions don't usually work with elderly. One has to think ecosystem, because elderly in general are not great integrators of multiple point solutions. So what we've tried to do is, of course, we customize. I talked about 6 different care pillars, and within this there are 20 25 services in each one of them. So there is a whole basket of almost 100 plus services. And it's not to say that there are only 100 plus services. I mean, if there is 100 first or 100 second or 100 third, we will figure out a way to do that too. It's just that 100 have already come up and we have taken care of that. Obviously, in the plans that we have, any of the plan that we have, we cannot do all 100 at the same time. It would become much more expensive than what we charge. I mean, our costs, what we charge is less than $100 a month. Therefore, it is assumed that different things will be required at different time. Our suggestion always is to be broad-based, because you don't know what may be required when. And that's how we have configured our services. We've also kept our cost and prices also low to be able to serve that. But yes, there are multiple plans. So for example, if in some case the need is more for companionship, then there is a different solution for that we can offer. If there is someone whose need is more intensive, then we can offer a different solution for that. So yes, there is an opportunity to customize, and in that sense we are very flexible to recognize the differences and respond to them.
One very interesting question, Ashish, is how do I get my parents to agree?
Yeah. I think I talked about that early on. That is the first challenge. And as long as you don't challenge their sense of independence, I think you will get positive response. So there are two things which normally play in elderly's mind. It's not, they are smarter than us, right? They know exactly what is going on. So it's not that they don't know and therefore are, refusing support. The two primary reasons they refuse support, number one is, it hurts their sense of independence, that look, I am on my own, I can take care of myself. It affects that. The second is they are not and independent of how they are financially, they don't enjoy spending on themselves, or to know that money is being spent on them. Yeah. So those are the two things you have to take care of. You have to show them that why this is one, it is not for them, it is for you. You are doing it because it's your wish. You want your peace of mind. It will help you, right? And so ask them a favor. Don't position it as a favor you are doing them. Yeah, ask for their favor, that they give you your peace of mind by accepting this. And the second is to take the money thing out of it. I mean, a large number of our families we serve, the children have actually, don't talk to them about money. Our team never talks to parents about money. So we'll our care managers who meet them, our other people who speak to them on phone, will never talk to them about money. So that's the other thing to think of. And the third one, which actually came to me from one of our clients, she's in Singapore, and she said, look, I was just the unreasonable child to my parents. I used to do that when I was young. And you know what? Even at 40, I can be that unreasonable child. So I was unreasonable to them, and I said, no, I want you to take. So, there are different solutions that you can try. And, we can talk about it. There's a blog on our website I've written about 6-7 ways or 6-7 things you can do to address this particular thing.
How often does your team interact with my parents, and how?
So at the, for comprehensive care, our endeavor is to be in touch with them at least 2 to 3 times a week, through a visit or through telephonic contact. Some are comfortable with video calls also, so we do that with them. In our comprehensive care plan, their care manager would visit them at least once in 2 weeks. That we think is important for the social side, and the real value they get from a care support. Beyond that, it is really very need based. There are times of emergency when we've had people, our team, meet them, be with them for days together. And there are times, by the way, we also support parents if they have to go to another city for medical needs, for example. And that is especially true of small towns. So if you have to go to a Delhi or a Bombay or Chennai or a Hyderabad or a Bank, wherever, I mean, wherever there are these medical centers, then because we have a national network, we are able to support across the country. Very recently, we had a family where the elderly was in Lucknow, and he was traveling to Bombay to meet their children, and there was a certain need for them to be taken to the hospital, and the son and the daughter-in-law were not at home, and our team there made sure that they could take the visit. So a minimum is what we recommend, and beyond that, really, it is need based.
Will there be complete transparency and visibility in the interaction with my parents?
Of course. So as a rule, anytime anybody from our team interacts with your parents, whether it is in person or whether it is on the phone, that gets reported. So you'll get a report, you'll get to know what happened. And by the way, this is a very, very important and useful feature for the children, because for once they get to know what is happening. I mean, my case, for example, where my family care manager called me to tell me my mom had a fall because my parents didn't tell me. So that gets done. If you, and all that record is on the app, so you can see what happened, what was there. There's an extensive report of every visit, which tries to answer that very important question in your mind: "Bhai sab theek thak hai? Is everything well?"
Um, How do I get help in case of emergency?
So I think this is obviously top of mind for all of us. We worry about emergencies, and we are specially prepared for handling emergencies. It's a big important part of the plan. Very early on, as you perhaps saw in the care journey, right in the beginning of our engagement, we set up an emergency protocol, which lays out what is required, where basic information, key information that would be required at the time of an emergency. Where should he be taken? Which are the primary and the secondary ambulance service? Who's the treating doctor? Who are the people to be informed? What are the medical records that will be needed if he or she has to be taken to ER, right? So a bunch of these things we program and put in place right there, right in the beginning. And this is available to all family members, right? So that whenever an emergency happens, we know exactly what to do, ABCD. That's when our team, the care team, our operations, our health team, if in case an emergency is triggered, and it can be triggered by calling the care counselor or anybody in the care team, or calling the 24/7 helpline. We put that number very boldly. We in the home, we train the staff at home, home help, neighbors, etc. We tell them what to do in case of an emergency, so they have all this information. And when it's triggered, then our first priority is to get medical help to the patient. So in several cities, we are, now we have a network of ambulances which come with a doctor. So the doctor visits them, and oftentimes the solution is delivered right there. They don't even have to leave home. But in case they have to, then they are taken in the ambulance, and they're there at the ER. We take care of whatever procedures and payments sometimes, or whatever has to be done at the hospital, so that the treatment can begin. So typically that's what happens in case of an emergency.
My mother is not very comfortable with Hindi and English. So is this support available in the language that
Right. So sorry, I wasn't repeating the question. I just realized that I'm hearing the question, but you are not. So I'll repeat the question. It says, look, my parents don't understand Hindi or English. Then how, are you able to interact with them? Of course we are. The primary, person in this whole, in our care team, is the care counselor who visits the family. And they are local people. So, and not only local in state or language, but also somebody who lives close by. So they are equally comfortable in the language. In fact, we've had sometimes different requests where somebody in Chennai has said, look, can I have a care counselor or care manager who speaks Punjabi, because the family has moved there and so on. So we are able to take care of that and address language issues as well.
I think, can you talk a little bit more about the social engagement part that we engage in building?
Okay. So there's a question about what do we do in social engagement. I think I gave a little bit of an idea, but the objective of social engagement is to, see, care doesn't have to be only about aches and pains and solving problems. At the end of the day, it also needs to be about enhancing the quality of life, and that's where engagement comes in. And engagement can take various forms, right? One purpose of engagement is to keep them mentally active, right? And there we do a bunch of things depending on, even with people who are perfectly fine and so on, many of them start giving up on their interests. So one thing we do is try to bring their interests back, right? Somebody may have been doing painting, but and uh, doesn't find the doesn't find it easy to do it anymore. Some people wanted to learn something, but they couldn't, right? Because organizing that, getting somebody trustworthy to do it, etc., is difficult. We organize that. Some people have skills. I know of a family where the mother, she was single, and she was a great cook. Uh, and after her husband's passing away, she was really, almost depressed. And the care manager worked with her, found her interest, and got her connected with a home chef group. And she got so engaged in that thing that she found, it's almost as if she found a vocation. Yeah. So that's one side of it. The other side of it is finding joy, finding more joy. uh, Small, it can take the form of trips to temples which they wanted to go but didn't go, trips to a coffee shop, or something new that they have heard about but have never visited. Get friends together at home. Many of them have stopped calling friends at home because it's difficult, it's inconvenient, right? Because they don't have the support. But with the help of the care counselor, care managers, they've started to organize these get-togethers. We also do local meetups where different members from different families come together and meet once a month. That gives them an opportunity to meet other people like them, and they find new friends. We also do travel. I told you places to go to was one big joy that they have. So we organize elder friendly travel. These can be group, or this can be for a family where somebody accompanies them, takes them to wherever they want to go. We've had trips recently to places like Ayodhya and Varanasi, which a lot of them have wanted to go, but equally, to Sri Lanka and other places which are part of their bucket list. So I mean, there is of course a set of things that we have, but again, there are new things which keep coming up based on what their interest is, right? There was one person under our care. She was suffering from dementia, and but she was earlier a music, she was very fond of music. So our team organized a music teacher to come and spend time with her, and it was unbelievable the change that it brought in her happiness and in her well-being. So it's customized. It changes from person to person, and we are very conscious of trying to do whatever makes most sense for them.
Will I have a say in selecting the care manager, or what if my parents don't get along with the care manager?
Right. So, by the way, very early on, when we select the matching of the care manager and the family is a very important part of this, right? We also select our care managers carefully because of this. They need to bring a combination of very high empathy and a very high sense of accountability. That's what makes a good care manager for us. So these are people who are already in some ways pre-qualified and have worked with elderly, and therefore bring certain skills and qualities which are required for this. And before we, introduce a care manager into a family, we do have a discussion with the children. Usually takes the form of a video call where, sometimes there are siblings who are together, and they have a discussion to make sure that the care counselor and the care managers are well matched for them. Most of the cases that works. But even later on, if for some reason, there is a mismatch, or there's a felt mismatch between the family and the care manager, then of course we, replace them with somebody else who may be more suitable.
That's all.
I'm just a bit conscious of time. Yeah, I mean, we've I think overshot our time, and this is, I could go on and on for forever. But I think if there are questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can click on that button on the right, bottom right, which says Samarth Elder Care, and there'll be a form. You can put your question there. You can put your details there, and we promise we'll let you know, and be there to advise in whatever way possible. So thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. For me, it was a great pleasure to talking to more people like us who've been in similar boat and situations. Hopefully, you found something which was of help to you, and if we'll be very happy to support you as you try and extend help to your parents in any way. Thank you. Thanks very much.